So, Bowling Alone, America's Declining Social Capital. Just a quick overview explains why civic engagement is going down, what has caused it, and what effects it may be having on our society as a whole. I found this very intriguing because they use the analogy bowling alone, which made it easier for me to understand the general idea of the passage. And as a business major, it took me by quite a surprise that I never stopped and realized this, that when you bowl alone, the bowling alleys aren't making a profit. Most of the time, bowling alleys are making a profit if it's a large group, they're interacting with each other, and they're drinking and eating. That's where the profit comes from. So when I looked at that in the bigger landscape of things, it made more sense that if we're doing things alone, we might not be accomplishing the big picture. So that's what I really liked about this article, is that it used that analogy and then kind of followed up with it with the key points and my handy dandy note card. Just some of the key points that I personally took away was that voting, religion, union involvement, PTAs, and volunteering have all decreased. And at the end of the day, I felt that the main thing that was pointed out was that most of the people that are involved in these things find it okay to just write a check and not actually participate in the group. They believe that writing the check does the justification and gives them the right to say, I'm in that society, I'm in that organization, I'm helping the world that gave them money. Well, money can't solve everything. Sometimes people interacting with each other is the solution that we need. So I never stopped to look at that. Like I said, I'm a business major. So most of the time, as a business major, you're looking at the profits, the margins, what is making the most money, and the numbers, the data. You're not stopping and looking at the person. So when I actually read this article, it made me stop and reevaluate what I'm doing to help the society. And yes, I'm in a society on campus, but I was really focusing on just myself, my professional development. Yes, I volunteered. Yes, I did what I needed, but it was to get points, to get recognition. So after reading this article, I realized that getting recognition isn't everything. That sometimes just interacting with others can better the world in general. It doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be something gigantic and enormous. It doesn't have to be costly. It's just interacting with people makes a difference. In our day and age, interaction is sending a text, FaceTiming for a few minutes, sending an email. Technology connects us, but disconnects us at the same time. I could be in the same room as someone, but never really stop and talk to them. I might even text them when I'm sitting right next to them. So I see the point in this paper, and I see what it's really trying to hit on. And something that I found very, very ironic, and maybe not ironic's the right word, but what really caught my attention is that they pointed out in our day and age that we become more tolerant of one another, but not as trusting. And I can personally relate to that because it's hard to trust people. I might tolerate someone in class, but am I honestly going to trust them and and ask their opinion? Probably not. But after reading this passage, I think it is an important aspect of things. They talk about religion. Personally, someone that goes to church a lot, just seeing how when I was younger, I had peers around me and people were coming, and as I get older, it's your parents aren't forcing you to go anymore, so it's really ultimately up to you. And just the decrease in number of people that are around my same age, it's increasingly low. And I guess I've never realized it, but then after reading this article and actually paying attention to my surroundings, it's very obvious that we are disconnected in a way that can harm our society. So like stated in the paper, at the very end of the article, he states that from the material marshaled, we can see that a simple act of joining and being regularly involved in an organized group has a significant impact on society. So, no, you don't have to be the leader of that group, but just just being in the group and just giving your opinion and aiding in any way that they need you to is ultimately helping society. And I find it quite fascinating because yes, it's argued, and yes, it could be hindered in another way that, well, you're disregarding all the technology advances we've made as a generation, and you're discrediting many innovations. But you also have to look at what is occurring in our world today. Was this much hatred and this much hate? uh, it was a thing in the past. Yes, there was racism. Yes, there was things, but now that, like I said, we're more tolerant. We're not as trusting. So overall, are those innovations? Yes, they aid in building things. Yes, they aid in solving issues, but are we actually putting the innovation to actually solve a problem? Are we putting that money that people write checks to into solving a problem? Are we making sure that what we give is actually being used for the right things? And I think that's one of the big takeaways that I took from this paper, is that I need to be involved in where my actions are going. Yes, I may give money, but is it actually going to what they say it's going to? Is it actually aiding and feeding the people that they say it's feeding? Or are they simply making a profit and giving a little bit to those people? So this paper really made me step back and think, am I bowling alone, or am I actually helping my society grow? Just a little takeaway of what I think. Thank you.